Yes. Yeah. Good evening, all. Right. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not? Yes.
Yes, sir, your voice is clear. Screen is visible.
Fine. Thank you. Yes. Yesterday we just had some introductory session on this, but just I'll take 5 minutes what we have discussed in the last class. Right. So why data engineer? Role of Azure data engineer, difference between a data engineer, a data scientist, and data analyst. Azure data engineering products and services, and job market of Azure data engineer. Generally, the cloud we are using is Azure cloud. It's majorly used for storing, analyzing, and delivering a data in various form. On premises, whenever we talk about this on premises, right? We need to on premises compared with the cloud premises. What is the drawback with on premises means we need to set up our own hardware infrastructure. On top of that, OS installation and purchasing database licenses, right? Installation of database server and designing database objects. To maintain all this, we require separated teams, like hardware team is required, operating system team is required, networking team, security team, and database administrators. But here, everything in the cloud premises, we no need to maintain all this. We no need to maintain all this. No need to maintain any infrastructure, no need of any licenses. Everything in the cloud environment. Okay. Data engineers, with the help of these cloud services, they work on the data and make it structured and useful, right? Data engineers responsible for smooth data flow. Data engineers responsible for smooth data flow from source to destination. Data engineer responsible for preparing the data, cleansing the data, transforming the data, and processing the data. Data engineer responsible for preparing the data, cleansing the data, transforming data, and processing the data. Data scientist strategizes for the future, is going to identify the patterns, recommendations for the future. He perform data analysis, data predictions, data classifications, data clusterings, data recommendations he does. But a data analyst on the other side summarizes the past, summarizes the data of the past, visualizing the data. So data engineer does all the groundwork. He does all the groundwork for the data scientist and analyst. More than 80% of data analysis work is done by data engineers. Data engineering involves what are the sources of the data and what is the format of the data and how to transform or process the data and what is the destination of the data. Why Azure data engineer is in demand today? Why Azure data engineer is in demand today? And role of Azure data engineer. Role of designing entire data flow architecture, creating a data warehouse, for storage of analytical data, creating a data warehouse for storing of analytical data. So it makes fast and easy to query the data for analysis. ETL, extract, transform, and load. This is one of the key tasks of data engineer. They need to extract data from multiple sources. They need to transform it. They need to make structured and then load it into the company's storage service for further evaluation by the data scientist. Data monitoring, right? Data engineers make sure that the ETL is performed in a proper way and data is available anywhere it is required. Data security. Ensuring data security. It is also a major responsibility of data engineers. The data need to be secure at each step of the process without any data leaks or data exposure. Collaboration and communication. Collaboration and communication, right? They have to constantly communicate with the business team to check if the data needs data insights. Collaboration with the data scientist to deliver the data as per their requirement. Analytics, right? Data engineers, analytics, right? Data engineers analyze the data and transform it into structured and useful format. Data engineers analyze the data and transform it into structured and useful format. They need to have strong analytical and mathematical skills. They need to have strong analytical and mathematical skills to perform this analysis. Automation. They have to automate certain processes which require minimal human intervention, which requires minimal human intervention, such as data extraction. Yes. And data engineering products or services. What are the various data engineering products or services? So data engineering products or services, Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Streaming, Azure Key Vault. Azure SQL. In a simple way, right? It is a cloud or DBMS. It is a cloud or DBMS. Database of Microsoft. In Azure. It is for OLTP operations. It is for OLTP operations. OLTP system captures end user transactions. It captures end user transactions. It is for data warehouse. Second is Azure Data Lake. Azure Data Lake. In simple way, it is used for storing data in the form of files. Some distributed file system. Some distributed file system with unlimited data storage in cloud. That is Azure Data Lake. It is a repository for large varieties of structured, unstructured, it is a repository of large varieties. It is a repository for large varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. It is a repository for large varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory. In a simple way, it is a cloud-based ETL. It's a cloud ETL. Already we got Informatica, right, for ETL, but it is for on-premises, but ADF, Azure Data Factory, is a cloud-based ETL of Microsoft in Azure Cloud. So here it is going to pull the data from different sources and it is going to dump it into some warehouse. So it permits us to combine data from multiple sources, reformatting it into analytical models, saving these models for querying, visualizing, and reporting. Yes. It acts as a data integration service. Understand here, right? We have some OLTP systems here. We have some OLTP systems. We have data warehouse systems here. Data warehouse, it stores some analytical historical data. Example of OLTP systems, Azure SQL. If you talk about on-premises like Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, MongoDB. Azure SQL, Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, MongoDB. For data warehouse, we have got Azure Synapse, Teradata. In case of on-premises, we got a Teradata. Netija, Vertica. Teradata, Netija, Vertica. ADF doesn't come in OLTP. ADF doesn't come in OLTP. ADF doesn't come in data warehouse. In between these two, right? Yes. ADF. ADF doesn't come in OLTP. ADF doesn't come in data warehouse. Between these two, ADF is an integration service. ADF is an integration service between these two. ADF is integration service between OLTP systems. Data warehouse systems. Integration service between OLTP systems and data warehouse system. All transactions, observe here, all transactions captured at OLTP systems. All transactions, they are captured at OLTP systems. How to bring these transactions? How to bring these transactions to warehouse system? Understand here how to bring this. All transactions captured at OLTP systems. How to bring these transactions? How to bring this transaction into warehouse system? We have ETL. By using ETL tools, we have got Informatica, data stage, talent, all these are on-premise ETL tools. On-premise ETL tools. All these are on-premise ETL tools. but I need a ETL on cloud. But I need a ETL on cloud. That is what? Area. We have got on-premises, but I need a ETL on cloud. That is what? EDS. Using ADF, we can connect with cloud databases. We can connect with cloud databases, non-cloud databases, NoSQL databases. Using ADF, we can connect with cloud databases, non-cloud databases, NoSQL databases. Using ADF, we extract data and pump the data into data lake and pump that data into data lake or Synapse. Then perform transformations. Using ADF, we extract the data and pump that data into data lake or Synapse and perform the transformations. Using ADF, we extract data, pump the data into data lake, and then perform the transformations, right? Yes, that is what ADF. So here, it is ETL. ETL means extract, transform, and load. Here it is ETL. Extract, transform, load. But our working style, is ELT. Extract, load, transform. Extract, load, but our ELT, but our working style is ELT, extract, load, and transform. Small volumes for small volumes of data. For small volumes of data in GBs. ELT for huge volumes of data. Terabytes or petabytes. See, for huge volumes, For huge volumes, ETL is bad. For huge volumes, ETL is bad. Okay, so that is regarding ADF, Azure Data Factory. Here it's a zero coding ETL. We doesn't write any codings here. Just a drag and drop. Everything will be drag and drop. So next is Azure Synapse. Azure Synapse Analytics. For data warehouse operations. For big data operations. For data warehouse operations, for big data operations. For batch processing. For parallel processing. For data warehouse operations, for big data operations. For batch processing and for parallel processing. Batch processing or batch applications. Batch processing or batch applications means right. User non-interactive applications. User non-interactive applications. Millions and trillions of records. See, online applications, batch applications, online applications, user interactive applications. Here, user non-interactive applications. Here, millions and trillions of records. Parallel processing. So in Azure Synapse Analytics, here we have a database. Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. Simply we say as Synapse DB. Simply we say it as Synapse DB. What is Synapse DB? What is Synapse DB? Cloud Data Warehouse of Azure. What is Synapse DB? Cloud Data Warehouse of Azure. Next, Azure Databricks. It is a Apache Spark based data analytics platform. It is Apache Spark based data analytics platform. Spark. What is this? Spark. A very high speed. A very high speed data execution model. Very high speed data processing model. Data processing model. Which process huge data. Which process huge data. If you want to see the speed of Spark, the speed of Spark, right? Yes. Yahoo has collected a test. Yahoo has collected a test. Yahoo has taken a table. It has taken a table of 100 TB, 100 terabytes, consisting of 1024 columns. Task, sorting based on 16 columns. Sorting based on 16 columns. Time taken by different Oracle, right? It has taken around 3.5 days to process this. MySQL, it has taken around 6 days to process it. Teradata, it is a data warehouse. It is a specialized database used for data warehouse. It can handle TBs of data. It has just taken 4.5 hours. Netija, another data warehouse, another database used for data warehouse purpose, right? Has just taken 3 hours. Finally, big data Hadoop. Hadoop has just taken 3.4 minutes. 3.4 minutes. Hadoop has taken very less time. It has taken minutes of time as compared with this Teradata, Netija, all these things, right? They have taken days and hours. But Spark is 100 times faster. 100 times faster than Hadoop. That is what the speed of Spark is, a very high speed data execution model, right? Azure streaming. Azure streaming analytics. Azure streaming analytics. For analyzing, and processing, for analyzing and processing high volumes of streaming data, high volumes of streaming data from multiple sources. High volumes of streaming data from multiple sources simultaneously. For analyzing and processing high volumes of streaming data from multiple sources. simultaneously, right? Streaming data means data which keeps on incrementing, data which keeps on generating, data which keeps on generating, data which keeps on incrementing. Azure Cosmos DB. Cosmos DB is just like a MongoDB, right? It's a NoSQL database. Simply saying that Azure Cosmos DB. It is cloud-based, in a simple way. It's a cloud-based NoSQL database. NoSQL database. NoSQL database, just like a MongoDB. We have got Cosmos DB. It's a NoSQL database. What is that? Schemaless behavior, record to record, different number of fields can be maintained for random access, right? Next, Azure Key Vault. Simply saying like secure key management. I can say like secure key management for protecting the data, for protecting the data in the cloud, for protecting data in the cloud, right? Yes. So these are the main Azure data engineering products and services. So what is that? Azure SQL, it's a cloud RDBMS for OLTP operations for day-to-day operations. Azure Data Lake for storing data in the form of files, distributed file system for unlimited data storage, storing all formats of data, structured and semi-structured. Azure Synapse Analytics for data warehouse operations, for big data operations, for parallel processing. Azure Data Factory is a cloud ETL, cloud-based ETL. Azure Databricks, Apache Spark-based data analytics platform, very high-speed data processing execution model. Azure Cosmos DB, it is like a NoSQL, cloud-based NoSQL database. Azure Streaming. Azure Streaming, like analyzing and processing high volumes of streaming data, that too from multiple sources simultaneously. Azure, okay. Azure Key Vault, like a secure key management for protecting the data in the cloud. So as part of our course, as I said, I'll be discussing second. So like Azure Data Engineering, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, PySpark, Azure Synapse Analytics. Apart from this, Azure SQL, Data Lake, and Azure Streaming, right? Yes. Offerings from my side, you will be getting each and every session video, soft copy of this class notes, assignments or tasks, and WhatsApp group, and interview questions. So tomorrow the link will be changing, means for the next session, session will be on Monday. Next session will be on Monday. So yes, you're supposed to get enrolled by paying the fees, right? Yes. So yes, sorry. Tomorrow there is a session, right? Continuation to this. Tomorrow there is a session. So same time at 4 o'clock to see more discussion, right? But tomorrow the link will be changed. You're supposed to get enrolled uh, to get that link to your mail, right? You can see the payment details, everything in the chart, which is given by this online team. So the course content details, their contact details, and the payment details, everything is provided in the chart. Yes, you can just check with the course content in depth. In brief, we'll be discussing about this. Azure Data Factory, pipeline, linker services, data sets, activities. So different types of activities, triggers, integration, runtime, source controls, what is data flow debug, and nearly 50 exercises will be discussing here in this. Apart from this, in Azure Databricks, what are the prerequisites required? Everything will be discussed. Big data, what introduction to this big data, Hadoop, Spark, right? And creating a Databricks cluster management, types of cluster, starting cluster, terminating cluster, deleting cluster, Databricks tools, Databricks utilities, Databricks integration with different components, handling multiple file formats, Databricks batch processing, Databricks streaming API, Databricks lakehouse, data flows in Databricks, right? Azure Synapse Analytics in brief. We can just go through this, right? Yes. Yeah. Apart from this, in brief, on this PySpark will be discussed in brief, enterprise asset, and we'll be getting knowledge on this Azure SQL data lake and streaming, right? Fine. Any queries you have got? Yes.
Fees, it's a one-shot payment or two installment?
So it is an offer batch, right? If you say
Yeah.
that it is an offer batch, each component ADF is a separate, of course you can say Azure Databricks, PySpark, and what. Each one is a 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, right? Like 24,000. It is given for 14,000, right? It's a one-time payment. They're going separately, need to pay 6,666 for this. And apart from this, we are also providing knowledge on this Azure SQL data lake and stream, right? Yes. Okay. So everything, I'll show you the practicals for the practicals, how to get the free subscription of Azure and how to work on that. Step by step, you can do the practicals along with me parallelly during the session. If you got any errors, you can just then and there you can ask me, right? You can share the screens, totally hands-on sessions. Everything 100% you will understand whatever we discuss. All our interactive sessions, hands-on sessions, right? Yes. Fine. Okay. So if I'm done with the queries, if there are no other queries, I'm signing off. We'll meet you tomorrow, same time at 4 o'clock using this same link, right? Yes. Yeah. Right. Thank you for your time. Thank you.